Secret time. Funeral director secrets. Essential questions that you should ask. I'm telling that to a consumer, but you as a funeral professional, I think you should be on your A game. I would think number one would be, what are the costs involved? People, especially on my TikTok channel, are perpetually talking about costs. Provide a cost breakdown. And then you'll have that bitter individual saying that funeral homes are scams and we're all out to make a ton of money off people during their most delicate times. I'm sure there are people out there that capitalize on grief and try to upsell everything. It is a business. Keep that in mind. But I think there's a way to present with a beautiful bow the costs associated with care. It's a transaction, a funeral home. A funeral has costs associated. You don't go in and buy shoes and say, I'll talk to you later. I'll pay them whenever I can. I'll pay for them now. And that is how the transaction works. With death, there's delicacy. Absolutely. You want to ask for a detailed breakdown. FTC requires that a general price list be presented to a family who asks about costs long before an arrangement or even a death occurs. And it is your responsibility to hand that to someone who is inquiring. It is also your responsibility to be knowledgeable. You know, being able to spout off the difference in a traditional followed by cremation, a memorial, and then all of the what's included thereafter. Some funeral homes offer package pricing. Some are itemized only. There are specific requirements that funeral homes have to adhere to when it comes to itemizing and packaging and a general price list. Be knowledgeable on that. Another question, essential question. What are my options for pre-planning? Getting on paper your wishes long before the need arises. We plan for everything except for the fact that we're going to die, because we all are going to die, and most people don't want to talk about that, so they don't want to plan it. I'll let my kids handle it, or I have a life insurance policy. It is your responsibility to be knowledgeable on that if you're in the funeral profession. If you are a consumer, life insurance, the proceeds, they should go to your beneficiaries. There are funding vehicles specific to a funeral. They're called death benefit policies. Most funeral homes do offer them, or a trust where it's just funeral only. And then the life insurance could go to your children or the grandchildren or the nonprofit. I encourage you to be knowledgeable on that. Know the options available. What is a guaranteed? What is a non-guaranteed? What items actually are guaranteed? Because a third party or cash advance item is a non-guaranteed, because unless they own the florist, the newspaper, or the monument company, etc., you can't control those costs. Keep that in mind. What services do you provide? That's a pretty essential question. What services do you provide? Like, building value and service and ceremony is essential. How can you sell something, and that is not so much a monetary, but how can you sell yourself or your service or your funeral home or the staff that you work alongside or anything if you don't believe in it yourself or aren't knowledgeable? So what services do you provide? Of course, any four walls could say they're a funeral home and put a casket and a loved one in it. But what makes you exceptional? What are the services that you provide? Know them. Speak to them with confidence. That is an essential question that you should ask yourself, and hopefully consumers are asking as well. Can you customize the service? Yes, you can customize the service. The days of tradition still do exist, but now the walls of the square are getting a little bendy. They haven't broken yet. A funeral can be whatever you wish for it to be within legal reason. If it's legal, if it's ethical. People are being buried and turned into coral reefs. People are getting shot into outer space. Can you personalize? Yes. Can you, as a funeral professional, help them personalize? You should be able to. Listening to the nuances and speaking back, surprising them, Maybe they talked about a favorite dish, or maybe they talked about the favorite color, and then when they walk in for first view, you're wearing that purple tie. Personalize the service. Yes. Can you customize it? Absolutely. And you need to know how. What documentation do I need? What do I need? Well, you need all biographical information if you're going to file a death certificate, correct? If there's a life insurance policy, there needs to be a policy number, there needs to be social, there needs to be beneficiary information. You got to get all of that. And it'd be nice to know who the survivors are. It's good to pre-plan. So then this one goes back to the pre-plan, being knowledgeable on the pre-planning. That is important for you to have here. Do you offer green burial or eco-friendly burial? That is becoming very popular, and a lot of people are asking about it on my TikTok channel. There is not a location where I live. There's one an hour away. Maybe you are on the cutting edge of that. Maybe you're offering it. What does that entail? A lot of people want to know, what is the pros to that? What are the price differences? Again, that goes back to your general price list. Be knowledgeable on it, even if you don't offer it, because it's going to go there, and you need to be ready for it to go there. What happens if I have special or cultural or religious requirements? Being raised a certain denomination, serving a different group of people or a different faith tradition, it is your responsibility to be knowledgeable. How do you enter a church or a synagogue? Or how do you stand at attention? Or do you wear white gloves and assist in going in, processing out? All of these are your responsibility to be very confident in. And it's very important for consumers, people, to know their options and to also know that you're well versed in what and how they celebrate. And how do you handle grief support? It's a great question. How do you handle grief support? Being present is amazing, and you can probably navigate well at an arrangement table the different emotions that are felt. But what grief support options do you offer? Do you offer just a template-based because you bought the website service and so you're just going to print that page out? Do you just hand them a book or a pamphlet? Or do you offer an actual licensed grief therapist or social worker, or give them references? Do you give them anything that is a unique, proactive, hey, just because the funeral is over and you've stepped out of our four walls, we're going to continue the support? Those are questions that need answers, confident answers, and hopefully you're thinking progressive. Be sure to subscribe and click that bell so you can stay up to date when we release new content, and you can follow me on all of the socials. Keep your chops. Keep your chops.